Namaskar everyone. I am Saurabh Kumar Singh and today I'm going to talk about database management system. So what are the agenda on which I am going to talk is introduction of Dbms, entity types, entity sets, attributes, structural constraints, weak entity. So first of all, what is database? A database is the collection of data which are be arranged in the some order manner that we can access the data properly. And DBMS is a software which is used to manage the data, and there are different languages like data manipulation language, standard query language, and etc. So what are the entity types? In database, an entity is a single person, place, or thing about which data can be stored. Means the thing about which we store the data is called entity. Okay, here are the different examples like environmental awareness. In that there are different things like culture, individual, society, system. So environmental awareness is an entity, and there are different attributes, or you can say weak entity of that particular entity. And like that only there is economic production in which there are cell, social system, and inside that there are different attributes. Now, what is entity sets? An entity set is a group of distinct entities that have the same properties. Means that there is a group of entity, like we can take there is a loan, and the payment is a weak entity which is derived from the loan, but have the same property. Okay, entity sets are used to organize data in database. For example, a customer entity might have the name, address, and phone number as attributes. Means in entity there are different attributes for which we fill the data in that particular table. What is attribute? An attribute is a property or characteristics of an entity that is used to describe an entity. Means that if I am taking a building as an entity, okay, so there are three different attributes: name, has elevator, occupancy. Okay, same like here, janitor person, name, employee ID, photo. Janitor person may be the name of that company or anything, for which there are three different attribute in which you have to put the name, employee ID, and the photo of that particular person. Like this, there are two more different examples of attributes having inside the entity. Now, structural constraints. Okay, it can be defined by the cardinality ratios of the relationship. Means how an entity is related with another entity. So if you see this image, there is entity 1 which is related with entity 2. Means that the rectangle shape show the entity, the diamond shape show the relation between the entities. Here m is to n ratio means entity 1 is related with entity 2 with m is to n ratio. There are four cardinality ratios. First one is 1 is to 1, second one is 1 is to n, third one is n is to 1, fourth one is m is to n. So first one is 1 to 1 means that if the one attribute of entity 1 will be in relation with the one attribute of entity 2, then it will said to be that there is a 1 to 1 cardinality. We can see here the one attribute of this particular entity set is connected with only one attribute in another entity sets. So this is 1 to 1. The second one is 1 to many. If entities in the first entity set take part in the relationship set at most once, and entities in the second entity set take part many times, at least twice, the cardinality is said to be 1 to many. We can see here the one attribute of the first entity is connected with three attributes of the second entity. Like that only, this is also connected two times in this entity. So this is 1 to many. Many to one means that the first the attribute of the first entity is connected with only one in the second entity, but the first attributes, different attributes are connected with the same entity in the second entity set, then it will be said to be many to one. Like you can see here, they are the two different entity of this entity set is connected with only one entity of this entity set. Again, these three are connected with only this one. So this is said to be, it is many to one cardinality. Last one is many to many. In this, the different entity of first entity sets are connected with the different entity of the second entity sets. This is said to be many to many cardinality. We can see here first and second is connected with 1, 2, 3. Again, these two are connected with 1 and 2. So this is said to be many to many. Before I move to the weak entity, I want to tell you that there is a participation constraint in a structure constraint in which it shows that how the entity sets are connected to each other, means how they are in relationship. There are two types of relationship. One is partially and another is total. So it is shown by the participation constraint. Now, weak entity. An entity that cannot be uniquely identified by its own attributes and relies on the relationship with other entity is called weak entity. Simply, we can say that the weak entity does not have its own primary key. It will be controlled by the that entity, which is, we can say, master entity by which it is connected. Here we can see that there is a loan which is a main entity, and the payment is based on this loan, and the relationship name is loan and payment. So whatever the primary key loan has, it will be the same for the payment. Now, a weak entity is represented by a double rectangle. We can see here the weak entity is represented by double rectangle. Thank you.